When I first started as a player, you're playing on the East Coast, 3-hour time change, 6-hour-ish flight, 5.5, depending on if you're getting out of Boston into LAX. It was a pretty big geographical difference between the primary American League affiliate for the LA Kings back in 99, 2000, early 2000s, and today. So a big drastic change geography-wise. And I think there's some pros and cons that come to each, but it's quite a bit different. The days of playing 3 games in 3 nights and busing from Providence to Lowell to Springfield to Worcester to Lowell have changed here for us on the West Coast, where we're based out of El Segundo, but also flying a few more places with teams like San Jose and Tucson, San Diego, Bakersfield. There's Palm Springs is a new building. Henderson is a newer franchise as well. So it's grown quite a bit, and it's changed quite a bit.
The American Hockey League. The top minor hockey league in North America, which started in 1929 with small market franchises in the United States and has expanded to over 30 franchises in the continent. The AHL ranges from former NHL markets like Hartford, Connecticut, to locations that host major league franchises like Cleveland, Ohio, and 5 different franchise locations in California.
I grew up in Boston, and my dad was a Whalers fan, so that pole was in my house, and I vaguely remember seeing them play. But I remember that was really the first time, you really realize at a young age that sports is big business, and you kind of realize that. And, a lot of people obviously weren't happy with it. There are a lot of people still to this day that void has not been filled. I think that Calder Cup championship is really a golden moment for this city and in professional hockey, and it's something that fans here still very much remember and still very much cherish.
I mean, there's been hockey in this city in some way, shape, or form at the professional level for a very, very long time. So the Monsters are currently kind of the standard bearers of that. Rebranding to the Cleveland Monsters was to sort of, be specific, as I said, but also to enhance what is a huge part of our brand, which is that spirit of Cleveland. I mean, that's something that we shouldn't just make sure to mention, but Cleveland is who we are. And so we just wanted to make sure that was front and center and was emphasized, and there was no question when you're talking about the Monsters, you're talking about Cleveland hockey.
I mean, Hershey proper itself is only about 14,000 people, and we have a 10,500 seat arena. That doesn't seem to make sense maybe on paper if you look at it, but if you look at the surrounding area of central Pennsylvania, there's a real great fan base that comes from an hour, sometimes more, away to cheer on the Bears. We're lucky to have the history that we do. We're lucky to have the success that we've had, winning 12 Calder Cups, which is more than anybody in the entire American Hockey League. But it's just really a town that loves to embrace this team. It's been kind of a part of the community here ever since.
From an attendance and financial standpoint, the AHL was doing really well until everything stopped in the spring of 2020.
World Health Organization has just declared a global coronavirus. It is a pandemic at this point.
The number of cases soaring just today. More than 24,000 now nationwide.
UNC is now the world's epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic, and cases continue to multiply there.
Today, the American Hockey League announced it is canceling the remainder of the 2019-20 season.
It is the second American professional sports league to cancel its season because of COVID-19.
Because of the pandemic, the AHL canceled the Calder Cup playoffs in 2020. The following season, 3 teams opted out. 6 teams played in different locations. And once again, the playoffs were canceled.
The COVID situation was interesting for us because we were one of the 3 teams in the AHL to opt out during that shortened 2021 season. I think looking back on it, that ended up being one of the wiser decisions that could have been made, because teams that weren't putting on a season that shortened year, they had to take on so many operational costs, and then all the testing costs and all the medical costs that were associated with getting those tests in, ensuring that you had an arena to play in. All those were huge costs, and without ticket revenue coming in because fans weren't allowed back in most states, just the way the government was shut down at that time, it really would have been a probably 6 or 7 figure loss economically.
With certain AHL teams opting out, players who were going to make the NHL rosters were wondering where to go after finishing their college careers or their seasons in the junior leagues, which severely impacted players' development.
There was a lot of players coming out of junior and that year and a half or whatever that never played. They lost over a year of development, whether they're 18, 19, 20 years old. And I think that was very detrimental and they're just trying to get back in the swing of things. And it's taken a couple years for them to restart their careers.
NHL teams such as the Nashville Predators, the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Florida Panthers were forced to send prospects elsewhere to give the players a place to develop, but also somewhere to go in case of a call-up to the pros.
We talked to Nashville, and they understood completely because they still wanted guys to develop. You didn't want them taking a whole year off, so a lot of our guys ended up in Chicago. Our coaches ended up in Chicago. It's kind of a split team there between Admirals, which would have been Nashville, and then I believe it was Carolina was with Chicago at that time. So they were kind of split up there, but everybody understood, and it was a matter of just needing to do the right thing for the future of the company.
While Nashville's prospects shared the same locker room as Carolina, the Florida Panthers partnered up with their in-state rival Tampa Bay, and both teams shared the same AHL affiliation in Syracuse, New York.
On the ice, the coaching staff got everyone involved. Off the ice, team services definitely had to be a little busier trying to make, finding flights if needed. Then again, there wasn't a ton of transactions that year either because of the COVID restrictions and the taxi squads. So there wasn't as much up and down movement between the NHL and the AHL. There still certainly was some transactions and some call-ups, but that year was so, from a business perspective, it wasn't like we were marketing these guys or anything. So from that perspective, it wasn't anything crazy, but there was definitely some unique moments throughout the course of the year with both affiliates here.
Because play on the ice had been limited, business continued off it. Many markets saw the pandemic as an opportunity to make the game day experience better for their fans and play on the ice better for the prospects as well by getting support from their NHL affiliations.
The Bridgeport Sound Tigers became the Bridgeport Islanders back in 2021. The New York Islanders own the Bridgeport Islanders, so it's not like some teams that have an affiliation agreement and all of that. I mean, the New York team basically is the Bridgeport team and vice versa. So a lot of the employees we have here are New York Islanders employees. Everybody gets paid by New York. The players, again, they feel like they're on Long Island with only being a few miles away, just the way that everything is treated here. When it comes to the feel, the financials, all of it, it's very well aligned.
Over COVID, the Blackhawks ended up purchasing the team. The way we were set up prior, we were owned by the arena. So we were essentially owned by the city of Rockford. We became a strain on the arena just because there was no events going on, there's no hockey games going on. So the timing was right for the Blackhawks to purchase the team. And with that, they were able to help secure $26 million or so with the state of Illinois to renovate our arena.
During the 2021-2022 AHL season, all teams were back in the fold. But it did take a while for fans to get back into the full swing of things, with the virus still circulating.
In that 21-22 season, we got through it. Yes, our attendance numbers were down, but we still did business. We were happy. We ended up averaging like 4,800, so that wasn't great. I mean, that would normally be not a good year, but considering all the circumstances, we were pleased with the fact that we were able to start having the product again and didn't have to go 2 years. I think 2 years may have been a death knell for the organization to not be able to play. So it was important for us to get back out there.
But from the time COVID began to present day, the AHL has now expanded from 30 teams to 32. Many franchises have had an average attendance increase of 15%. League revenue has had a 20% increase. And business for teams and the surrounding area around them has been booming.
We kind of just went back to the roots. We went back to saying our core element are hockey fans. Our core element are fans that maybe haven't come out in the last year or two here. But what we are going to do is just make sure that they have the best time. And it's going to become, not just a word of mouth thing, but when you make the process easier for people, it tends to latch on and more people are willing to actually give it a shot. But the overall encompassing factor was come back out, we're making this a safe, we're making this a good environment, to actually, enjoy yourself a little bit at a much more friendly price than some of the other places.
Downtown Allentown used to be kind of the place to go. It had fallen into a stretch where there really was no reason to go there, no malls or anything else, and a little beat up. But now they're kind of building it up again. And between the concerts and the hockey events, we're talking, I believe now we're at over $1 billion worth of revenue in terms of the fans that have come in for the different restaurants and bars and other establishments downtown, especially on event nights where downtown Allentown has become the place to be. And we understand that this is kind of part of our mission there to support what the city wants to try to do. And I think now the team and the arena have succeeded.
So our fan experience over the last couple of years due to these renovations has changed a whole lot. And then you couple that with a larger staff and more resources available to us from the Blackhawks purchasing the team. And we've really been an extreme example of how we've been able to evolve in a change since COVID happened.
With rumors going around about potential NHL expansion, the AHL could follow suit over the next few years. But from a fan standpoint, this is everything a hockey fan could ask for. Because the AHL is more than a hockey league. To fans, it's a family.
We're here to support the team. We're here to support our fellow fan members. And we're also here to educate and encourage the casual viewer. We like to term ourselves not only a Hartford Wolfpack Booster Club, but we support the hockey fan. No matter what team, when we come in this building, we're all family at the end of the game.
The AHL's comeback from the pandemic has positively affected on-ice play, the business behind the scenes, and the fans that come and enjoy a product that is growing game by game.